Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is the Carnival Venezia. I was on board for a total of 11 days. I'm going to take you on a full walkthrough of the ship. The port right now that we're walking is going to be out of New York, and this is temporarily the home port. In 2024 and 2025 it's going to go to a different port, but for now, if you are on this ship, more than likely you're going to be on the Venezia. Now I'm going to give you my perspective as we walk through. I'm going to enter all the shops, all the restaurants, the buffet. I'm going to talk about my experience there and what I enjoyed and a few things that I didn't enjoy. So right now this is the liquor store. You can buy liquor here on the Carnival Venezia and all Carnival ships. We are on the 4th floor, and right below is going to be the atrium. I'm going to swing by in just a minute and take a look at what the atrium looks like. It's absolutely beautiful. I would describe it as stunning. That is not the only opportunity you'll get to see the atrium. We're going to take a closer look in just a few minutes. This right here is the Carnival store. So if you want to buy any kind of Carnival merch, this is going to be your stopping location. Of course, if you want to get discounted items, there are lots of stores here, and throughout your cruise, they'll have maybe a sidewalk sale where they bring out watches and t-shirts. Usually watches and t-shirts are almost a staple, but a lot of different things, and they'll have things that will go on sale. They have a store here that just sells things for $10, and there's lots of opportunities for you to buy stuff on board if that's what you're into. One of the things that you'll notice as we walk around is that it's really very lush. Not your typical Carnival ship, in my opinion. The theme that they went with is going to be Italian, the Venetian type theme. So you'll see that all throughout the ship. This is the atrium. It's the central heart and hub of the ship. It goes up 3 floors. So if you're looking for one of those atriums that almost go up to the entire length of the ship, that's not it. Some of them go 4th floor, but this is 3 floors, and it's really one of the things that really makes this stand out. It's not only the decor and style, but it's also just how lush it is. One of the things I really enjoy are the very comfortable seats that are in the atrium. And of course, the central part of the atrium is the bar that you see here, and throughout the cruise they play music here all the time. One of my favorite was the violin trio, and they have lots of live music there. If you are into gambling, there is a very active casino, both slot machines as well as table games. The one thing you have to keep in mind with this casino is that it is a smoking casino. So one of the complaints that a lot of guests had was that there was a lot of smoke in this casino. There is a non-smoking casino, which is almost like a closet compared to this. You can see this casino is quite large, but the non-smoking portion of the casino is very, very small. The next place we're going to go to is going to be the sports bar. It's called the Hero Tribute Sports Bar. It had very lush, plush, comfortable seating in here. Very, very nice. If you were to watch a sporting event here, it's one of these bars that you sit down and you just don't want to get up. This is the Limelight Lounge where all their comedians performed. This is the one venue that was always very full. There was oftentimes a line to come in here. The comedians they had on board were very good. I was very pleased. Carnival usually does an excellent job with their comedians, and this was no different. This is Theater Russo on the 4th and 5th deck. One of the challenges with this theater is that there were several pillars that sometimes block your view depending on where you sat. Also, for the number of passengers that this ship can hold, it was pretty much full, and we were sailing on a cruise ship that wasn't full. I can only imagine if you're on a full ship, you really have to get here very early. But the performance I thought was pretty good, and I enjoyed it. We just left the 4th floor and we are now on the 5th floor, and What we have just left is the elevator shaft, and they have smart elevators. As you can see, this is the sidewalk sale that I talked about, and we're going to enter quite a bit of shops. But the smart elevators, most of the passengers I spoke with on board did not like the smart elevators. One of the challenges, when you press the button, it tells you what elevator to go to. However, it doesn't tell you how long the elevator is going to take to get there. Some ships like MSC has options where it does actually tell you, but this one does not. As you can see, as we walk around the 5th floor, the things that sets this floor apart are not only all the different shops and retail therapy opportunities that you'll see, but there's also lots of restaurants, and we're going to go inside each restaurant to give you an idea of what they look like. But if you love to buy things, again, there are plenty of opportunities for you to make a purchase, and you don't have to bring any money on board. As many seasoned cruisers know, the only thing you need is going to be your room key card. That is linked to your credit card. So anything you want to charge, it goes directly to your room.
Hi.
Many cruise lines, in my opinion, pressure you to buy things. They try to upsell you when it comes to restaurants and drink packages and pretty much anything, excursions, you name it. If it can be sold, they really try to push it. I didn't find that at all to be the case while I was on board. I felt that the salespeople were there, available to educate you and also sell you things, but it wasn't a pushy environment at all. So for me, that's one of the things that was really nice. Just looking at some of the shops, they all look like they're very, luxurious. However, I thought that items here were reasonably priced. For sure, if you wanted to buy expensive name brand things, there was that available too as well. But there were lots of sidewalk street sales where they were offering things at a very low price. I'll give you an example. They had a sidewalk sale where they had 3 shirts for $35. So I thought that was a good deal. I always buy t-shirts on every cruise. So I bought the t-shirts, and I'm a watch fiend, so I was in that watch store and I was there when the watches were on sale. But there's plenty of retail opportunities. There are lots of eating opportunities available on board the ship. It carries as many as a little over 5,000 passengers, and the areas that we're going to look at right now are some of the paid specialty restaurants. This is my favorite because they do a performance in addition to serving you the food. So I always do that restaurant. Now there's also a sushi bar that's right across the street. This is one of the piano bars. They play here pretty much late at night. There is a bar in here, but for the most part it's open usually after hours. The most prestigious restaurant on board is what you're looking at right here, which is Fahrenheit 555 or 555. Not sure how they go with that, but this is the most prestigious restaurant, and it's a steakhouse. If you enjoy to have alcohol with your meal or just drinking in general, there are lots of bars on board. One of the things I think, as you look around the ship, it looks not like your typical Carnival ship. Probably because Carnival didn't originally build this ship for Carnival. It was purchased from Costa Cruise Line by Carnival, and then Carnival refitted the ship, changed some of the decor, and to make it kind of more their brand. However, this ship, in my opinion, is very different from traditional Carnival ship that's more of a kiddie feel. As you walk around, and you'll see that it has more of an adult feel, and as you're looking, you can see that there are not a lot of kids on board, and we'll get to whether or not this is a right cruise for kids a little bit later, but it just has a very different feel from your traditional Carnival ship. This is another one of their bar areas, and there's drink packages available on board. If you want to get a soda package, it's going to cost you around $10 per person. However, if you get a drink package, you have to get the package for everyone in your cabin, at least all the adults in your cabin, I should say. And that could get very expensive. As you can see, this is another specialty restaurant. The decor in here is very nice, fine dining. The food in these specialty restaurants, in my opinion, does taste better than what you would get, say, at the main dining hall, which we are going to visit in just a little bit, or what you would find at the buffet for sure. We just left the 5th floor and now we're on the 10th floor. This is the promenade pool. This is one of only 2 pools on board. It's a pretty deep pool, goes down as many as 6 feet. This is a solarium, so in inclement weather, if it's raining, they'll close that roof so you can enjoy this area. Also on the very top level of where we are right now is a game area, and we'll go through all of that in a minute. And as you can see, as we head towards the buffet, there are 2 restaurants on either side. This serves a kind of Asian fusion type Mexican food. This is free, it's included with your fare. And on the other end is Guy's Burger. This is hugely popular with all the cruisers, and the burgers here are really terrific. It's amazing that it's a mass-produced food. However, they seem to get it right on every single ship. In just a moment, we're going to go to the buffet, and I have to say, I was not very happy with the buffet, and for 2 reasons. I always evaluate the buffet based on 2 criteria. Number 1, the quality of the food that you eat. How good does it taste? And then number 2, is there a lot of variety? Do you have a lot of choices? And when it came to how the food tastes, if you're used to eating carnival food, you're going to see lots of food that you're going to recognize. There weren't a lot of exotic type foods there. Now, when it comes to the variety, that was a problem. There was not a lot of variety of food choices, which was a big letdown in the buffet. Also, another thing that I did not like about the buffet, in addition to not having huge selection, I thought that the food just tasted okay. So if you're familiar with Carnival Cruise food and how it tastes, this is going to be pretty standard. Very disappointing because I just was looking for a huge variety in the food selection. I talked with folks on board, and many folks unfortunately felt the same. One of the things that drives me nuts with Carnival is that they give you these small cups. They're like 8 or 10 ounces. I strongly recommend you bring your own insulated cup. There were lots of people who did that on board, even though they frown on it and they tell you not to do it. No one's going to stop you. You may recall I said earlier that there were 2 pools. This is the second of 2 pools. Now this ship carries as many as 5,000 guests, and as you can see, there's not a lot of space surrounding this pool. So it wasn't very full when we were on there, but we were at maybe half capacity. So if you're on there at full capacity, you can just imagine how both pool areas are going to get massively overcrowded. I've realized that there were lots of complaints about that online already. So just keep in mind that when it comes to the pool, I can only imagine how early you have to get up in order to reserve a seat at one of these areas. But the pool, our area, in my opinion, on both ends are very small. We have changed floors, and now we're on the 11th floor. Let me tell you a little bit about Carnival Venezia so that you can have a better understanding about the cruise ship. It cost $780 million to build back in 2019. It has a total of 14 different decks, and if every room has 2 passengers in each room, it has a capacity of 4,208. However, its max capacity is 5,260. It's 1,061 feet long, and is considered a Vista class. Now, it does have 1,400 crew members, and the gross tonnage is 135,225. As you can see, we're coming up on maybe our 3rd or 4th bar. There are lots of them all over the ship. I strongly recommend, if you're going to get the alcohol package, do the math. Oftentimes it doesn't work out, especially if you plan to leave the ship and go to, say, a private island or to another destination off the ship. Oftentimes your alcohol package will not work, so that's wasted time if you go off the ship. And also, if you stay on the ship, you're missing out on basically going on an excursion or seeing somewhere or doing something new. If you like being outside, sunbathing, there was no shortage of outdoor space. There were tons of deck chairs on the top of the ship that helped to get you close to the ocean. And that's where we're headed right now to show you what's on top. It's more athletic feel up here. The arcade is up here. They play putt-putt golf, and there's a basketball court. So it's a really fun base out here on the 10th floor. In a minute, we're going to go to the basketball courts. Unfortunately, there were no organized basketball games. I think that's a carnival-wide policy just due to lots of early conduct by guests. However, pickleball was a huge fan favorite. They would have tournaments, and of course, it was a mostly older crowd that did it, but it was tons of fun. They even had a cheering section that was quite active. Believe it or not, this was actually built for the Chinese market, and it was purchased by Carnival back in 2023 and underwent a renovation. So lots of stuff that you'll see here the ship has a very clean look to it. It also has a newish look to it, a very luxury look. It doesn't have a huge water park, big disappointment. We'll head over there and talk about that in a minute. But one of the things that Carnival got completely right was the relaxed seating areas that were scattered all over the ship. When you see the adult only area, you're going to be blown away at how lush that area is, and it's all free and included. There are no separations on the ship between the haves and the haves not. So pretty much everything you see right now is available to every crew, not crew member, but every passenger. Carnival is known to be the fun cruise ship, but as you can see, a lot of the crowds that we're seeing so far quite a bit older, and as you look, it does have a bit of a theme that some people do not like, the decor, but for me it was perfectly fine. The biggest challenge that you'll find, especially if you have kids, is that the water park, in my opinion, was just horrible. This is the water park right here. Believe it or not, you're seeing the entire thing. There's nothing more to it. You see that there's a few slides above, but if you have kids, it does have an arcade section, it does have games, but as we're headed right now, you can see that it has a rope course. However, the water park and the activities that they have for kids, I feel like they really did a poor job. This, Carnival is designed for a family cruise ship, but this has a very adult feel. I think if you have young kids, they'll find ways to have fun, but I think they'll have fun on another ship, but just maybe not this one. Something that I did like was the fact that they had lots of organized activities. So if you like to keep busy during the day, and especially during the sea days, there's lots of things to do and see while you're on board. There was nothing that had a super long line or was difficult for us to be able to participate in. Now, there is an indoor gym, but right now what you're looking at is the outdoor gym. One of the challenges that I had with the indoor gym was that for the size of the ship, I thought the indoor gym was just maybe a bit too small. They do have an outdoor running track, which I'm actually on right now, and they do have an outside fitness area, which is what you're looking at right now. So I thought that was kind of unique, new, and different. Something I liked about this cruise was that although you had to pay for the specialty restaurant, pretty much most everything else was free on board. I was surprised that they did not have a pool table. However, they had table tennis and they had a lot of other table type games, but I wanted to play pool and I was kind of disappointed that they didn't have that. They did have this rope course though, and I thought it was an overly easy and simplistic rope course. So if you're looking for a challenge, this is not going to be the rope course for you, but for kids, I guess it gives them something to do. So we have just entered the Serenity area, and you're going to take a look around, and as you'll be able to see, in addition to having two huge whirlpools, it has super lush seating. It's almost like every seat in this area is designed perfectly to have you have a full relax on experience. The only challenge that I had with this area was that it didn't have an adult pool, and the big question is, do they keep the kids out? And the answer is yes. There were really no kids back here. You really had to make an effort if you were a child or a minor to come back here, and parents did not try to sneak their kids back here, which is also a big plus. And everything you see right now is 100% free and included. It was so lush and nice that I thought that you had to pay, but you don't. It's all included within your cruise fare. I was on board with my family, so I have young kids ranging in age from 17 all the way down to 12. And for the most part, the older they were, the more they liked it. However, the younger, my 12-year-old did not like it. And the reason why, it just didn't have a ton of things for them to do on board for young kids. There is a kid zone and a teen zone, but when it comes to comparing this to other ships, I think adults will like it just fine. There were tons of things that kept them entertained, but you think about the Carnival brand, about being for kids, I think it was going to be a bit of a disappointment. So overall, is it worth your time and money? I think yes, if you're an adult, but if you have small kids in the family, probably not.